This is Professor DePaulo welcoming you back to another module for Site 265 online. And so today we're going to be doing the mental rotation task or the experiment, collecting data that we're going to then analyze and interpret the results and then write it up as part of the manuscript you'll be writing this semester. So what we want to do is we want to go to the mental rotation task, which is in the weekly guide. So in this case, it's weekly guide week number 4, and we want to go to mental rotation task. So click on that. That brings us to this experiment screen. So we're going to be doing an quick online experiment, and you're just going to be recording a couple pieces of information, but I'm going to run through this fast with you. So if you click the screen, it's going to read out the instructions. It's going to give you a very basic mental rotation task. Press spacebar, and it's going to give you training trials. So obviously the training trials are very easy, just to make sure you know what's going on. Right, so pick the correct answer. These ones are a little bit trickier. Okay. And those are the training trials, and then you're going to have the 10 trials that actually count. So these are 10 trials, and it's going to be examining the number correct and also how long it takes you to do this. So I'm going to go through this fast, and the average time is 4471. So that's the data you want to put into your spreadsheet. Is the percentage correct? Would be 80. So you don't write that information down. 80 and 4471. So I'm going to write that information down. I'm going to be using it later. So 80 correct for that's 80%. That's 8 out of 10. 4471. Press space to continue. Like I said, this is not the most sensitive test because there's only 10 trials, but it's something. And it's easy to run online, and a lot of data is hard to really collect online unless you go through, jumping through a lot of hoops. You can actually show the data here. It shows you the trial. This is not really needed. This is training and test, and it basically shows you how much time you spent on each trial, but we're just looking at the totals. So if you wrote down your score, the percent correct and the time, which I did, mine was 80 and 4471, you're going to go back to week 4, and you're going to click on this, or wherever week the task is in. It may not be in week 4 in your section. And you're going to click on mental rotation data. And it's going to bring you to a spreadsheet like this. And you're going to enter your data underneath these column headers. Each particular row is going to be your data. So if you're the first person to enter the data, you're in row 2. And then the next person will be row 3, the next person row 4. So each person represents one row of data. So please don't get that mixed up, because otherwise it's going to throw up the whole analysis. Each individual student in the class, should be one row of data. So percentage correct, 80. Obviously, I'm not going to count mine, but I'm showing you how to enter it here. And the time I wrote down, 4471. And then you're just going to answer these questions. Do you play video games? Yes or no. How many hours a week? Put 0. Gender, like that. Hours of sleep, that's a tricky one. 5 or 6 times 7. Can maybe do 45. So that's total hours of sleep per week. Age, old. Obviously, you're going to put your real age there. I'm just going to put old. Handedness, left or right? So, right. Caffeine use, I have long stopped using caffeine. My GPA when I was an undergrad was about 3.873. And play sports, right now I'm too crippled to play anything, so I'm going to put no. And so these are the other variables that you have, and you should fill them out. Answer these questions. It's very basic: yes or no, or hours, or gender, hours sleep, age. Answer this honestly. No one's gonna know who you are because you're not gonna be recording your answers like I will in this video. Handedness, caffeine use, GPA, play sports. Uh, these are variables that could affect your score on the mental rotation test. So we want to look at which of these variables possibly can influence how well you are at doing mental rotation. I am terrible at doing mental rotation, so maybe it's because I'm not playing enough video games. Maybe if I just sat and played video games for 10 hours a day, I'd get good at mental rotation skill. I don't know. Probably wouldn't have a job, but I might be good at moving things in my mind. And obviously, I scored 80 here. I usually score less than this. The reason I scored 80 is because I've done this test a few times, and most of you will be doing it once. So it's a little harder if you just do it one time. Obviously, I've done it multiple times because I needed to pick out a task that would work for the entire class and that's easy to collect data on. And so once you're done entering the data, you're just going to close out. You don't have to save anything. You're just going to close out like this, X out. And if I go back to it, you'll see my data is already saved. I don't have to save anything because it's a Google Sheet spreadsheet. So I'll see my data saved. So you just enter your data, close out, and you're done. And that's it for the task. Now I'll erase this from my data set because I don't want my data to be counted towards the class data on this project. But one row per subject or per student, and then once you're finished, close it out, and you're fine. Now, what you want to do though is make sure you're very specific with how you type your answer. So it says male, female, non-binary. Use a capital letter to start it. So male with a capital letter, female with a capital F, non-binary with a capital N. So that it's easier to do this way. Otherwise, it's a little more work for me to clean up the data. Make sure you're doing hours per week, not per day. Age should be a number, not old. Handedness should be left or right. I didn't include ambidextrous. I mean, maybe that's important, but I didn't ask that. Caffeine, yes or no. GPA should be, obviously a number with a decimal or a whole number. And play sports, yes or no. So it's a very simple task. If you have any questions, you can email me about it. Once you enter all your data, I will analyze it, collect it, analyze it, and give you some results. And we'll see if any of these variables affect the scores in terms of the mental rotation test. So a very simple task, which is what I planned. Maybe not so interesting, but very simple task. Take the test really quickly, and then fill out the sheet, and you're done for that part of this week's assignment. So that's it for now, and I'll see you soon in a future module for next week. Bye-bye.